I'm David Skidmore. Today we're going to be talking about ostinatos, which are short, repetitive musical figures that often accompany a melody. In marimba music, you'll often find an ostinato in one hand while the other hand plays the melody. In today's lesson, the left hand will be playing the ostinato and the right hand will be playing the melody. We're using almost exclusively single independent strokes throughout this lesson. However, we're also going to introduce a new stroke type, the triple lateral stroke. Let's warm up our left hand with the first exercise, which is the basic ostinato pattern. Ostinatos require independence between your two different hands, which is a concept that we've talked about in past lessons. Since the ostinato is an accompaniment, it's almost always played quieter than the other hand, which is playing the melody. Warm-up exercises 2A and 2B give you the opportunity to work on this independence. For starters, let's get the left hand ostinato going. This is an extension of the ostinato pattern we did in the last exercise. Notice my bar placement on this ostinato. The first three measures, you're just playing on a good area of the bar on the lower manual. But as you move to the upper manual, the E flats and A flats in the third bar, I'm playing right on the edge of the bar, which gets a nice full sound. Now let's add the right hand on every other repetition. As you're doing this, keep both hands really relaxed. Focus on having nice, good piston strokes with each of these single independent strokes that you're playing. Warm-up number 3 introduces a new stroke type, the triple lateral stroke. As you might have guessed, there's a big similarity between the double lateral stroke and the triple lateral stroke. With a double lateral stroke, one wrist motion creates 2 notes, and with a triple lateral stroke, one wrist motion creates 3 notes. Just like with the double lateral stroke, a wrist bend initiates the triple lateral stroke, and then a wrist turn produces the rest of the notes. Look at warm-up number 3 and start by playing just the right hand. Now let's add the ostinato in the left hand. In future lessons, we'll spend a lot more time talking about the triple lateral stroke, so just think of this lesson as a basic introduction to the new stroke type. Now let's talk about phrasing, dynamics, and accents in this lesson. Throughout the music in this lesson, all of the dynamics and accents are pretty clearly notated. In fact, you'll even find different dynamics notated for each of your hands. So you might see LH and then a dynamic marking. Of course, that means left hand. Or you might see RH and a dynamic marking, and that means right hand. This is actually a pretty common notational system. Learn your dynamics from the very beginning. Learn those dynamics as you're learning the notes and the rhythms that are part of this etude and any piece of music that you play. If you do that, you'll start forming good habits right away, and in the long run, you'll actually learn music a lot faster than if you learn the piece one way and then have to go back and relearn it all again with the dynamics. Even though the dynamics and accents in the etude that's a part of this lesson are clearly notated, it doesn't mean that all of the answers you need are right there on the page. There's still plenty of room for interpretation. Remember, dynamics like mezzo piano or mezzo forte are a range of how loud you should play. They're not a fixed point. So as you watch my performance of the etude that's a part of this lesson, You may hear moments that are mezzo forte that are a little bit louder than other moments that are also mezzo forte. Or you might hear moments that are mezzo piano that are quieter than other moments that are also mezzo piano. So listen for those distinctions and try it out yourself to make the music come alive with great musical phrasing. Finally, let's revisit the musical concept of rubato. Remember, rubato is an expressive technique where you slightly change the tempo to add expression to a musical phrase. There are tons of opportunities for rubato in this lesson, so I'll just highlight one. Check out the phrasing exercise, which is giving you an example of how to use rubato in the first musical phrase of the Etude. First, I'll play that phrase in strict metronomic time. Now let's hear that same musical phrase with a little bit of rubato in measures 4 and 5. The rubato in this case highlights a shift in harmony. This musical phrase starts at a sort of a harmonic home bass, a tonic key. And then gradually over the course of the phrase, it goes farther and farther away from that home bass. And then I use rubato to slow down just a touch as we're at the farthest point from the home bass before we return to that tonic home bass key. And it just sort of heightens the dramatic moment in the music. It feels really good to bend the tempo at a musical moment like this one. In addition to experimenting with rubato in your performance of this etude, also be sure to pay attention to the tempo markings in measure 24 and 25, where I actually write out a poco ritardando, which is a small slowdown, and then a tempo, an indication to return to the original tempo. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out my performance of the complete etude from this lesson. We'll see you next time.